Christine Brown is planning a celebration unlike any other. Not a birthday, not an anniversary, but a divorce party for Janelle. And what's about to unfold will shatter every expectation and prove that these women are done living by Cody Brown's rules. January 4th, 2026, episode 15 of Sister Wives, the episode where everything turns upside down. Christine, the first to leave Cody, is honoring Janelle, her former sister wife, her friend, the woman who finally severed the last spiritual bond to Cody. Cody has no clue what's coming. For 30 years, Janelle had been tethered to him in faith, bound not by legal papers but by the covenant of the Apostolic United Brethren Church. Even after announcing their separation in December 2022, Janelle never called herself divorced. "We were never legally married," she admitted. "I just tell people I'm no longer with him. I say I'm single." But she felt incomplete. She hadn't received the spiritual release. Mary Brown got hers first. She petitioned the church for release, citing abandonment, and they granted it. Watching that, Janelle realized she too could be free. She reached out to Mary for guidance, and the two women, once divided by jealousy and tension, discovered unity, not through Cody, but through their shared journey of leaving him. Janelle's reasons were practical. She wasn't dating anyone at the time, but she knew that if she ever wanted to, she didn't want an invisible barrier holding her back. 30 years of marriage, 6 children, and decades of spiritual commitment weighed on her, and she needed that final release. Cody, for his part, never understood. He claimed karmic ties, as if their 30-year marriage was merely a debt he had to balance. But Janelle wasn't doing this for him. She wanted her freedom, physical, emotional, and spiritual. The process was intense. She traveled to Salt Lake City to meet with church leaders, explaining her reasons, awaiting their verdict. The tension was palpable. What if they denied her request? Janelle confessed she could have faced a crisis of faith. After all she'd endured, walking away from plural marriage, rebuilding her life, being denied freedom would have been unbearable. But hope prevailed. The church granted her release. The spiritual bond that had held her for decades was finally cut. She was free. Christine knew exactly what this meant. She had been the first to leave Cody in November 2021, announcing her departure online, shocking fans and family alike. She had sold her home, transferred her share of property, and moved on. By 2023, she was remarried, glowing with the love and respect she had always deserved. And now she wanted to honor Janelle with the same joy. This divorce party isn't about mocking Cody. It's not petty or vindictive. It's about celebrating courage, resilience, and the strength to leave. Leaving Cody after 3 decades wasn't easy. Seeking a spiritual divorce outside the church community wasn't straightforward. Janelle had to reach out to long-lost acquaintances, justify her choices, and wait for validation from leaders about her own life. She did it with grace, and now it was time to celebrate. Episode 15 doesn't stop there. Janelle meets Mary to reflect on her spiritual release. Christine hosts the divorce party. Mary enjoys time with a man named Ron at Zion National Park. And Cody, he apologizes yet again, this time to Robin, his current wife, the one he favored above all others. The contrast couldn't be starker. While Cody scrambles to soothe his conscience, his ex-wives are thriving, free, and unapologetically happy. Cody's pattern of apologies, first to Janelle, then Christine and David, reveals his desperation. His attempting to control the narrative, to appear reasonable, to present himself as the one who tried to make amends. But the truth is undeniable. He prioritized Robin, his chosen favorite, above all others. His neglect fractured his relationships with the majority of his children. Some of his kids haven't spoken to him in years. One son tragically died by suicide. Others have openly criticized him. Cody's empire of plural marriage collapsed because he couldn't manage equality or fairness, and now he's left scrambling for redemption while the women he left behind flourish. Christine, Janelle, and Mary are no longer bound by Cody. Christine is happily remarried, thriving in her personal and professional life. Janelle is building a farm in North Carolina, surrounded by her children and grandchildren, finally embracing freedom. Mary is exploring new love. The women have reclaimed joy, autonomy, and solidarity. They've discovered friendship and mutual support without the weight of Cody's favoritism. The divorce party for Janelle is a testament to all of that. It's a declaration. We are not victims. We are victors. We didn't abandon our family. We saved ourselves. They celebrate life on their terms, their courage, their liberation. And Cody? He's left watching, isolated with Robin, apologizing for something meaningless while his ex-wives revel in the freedom he refused to grant. The irony is delicious. This celebration marks the final chapter of one era and the beginning of another. Janelle's spiritual release, her complete independence, and the bond she shares with Christine and Mary symbolize the collapse of Cody's control and the triumph of the women who dared to walk away. They are thriving, joyful, and unstoppable. And on January 4th, 2026, Christine raises her glass to Janelle, not for Cody, not for the past, but for freedom, self-respect, and the remarkable courage it took to claim both. Life after Cody Brown isn't just possible, it's flourishing. Christine Brown is planning a celebration that isn't like anything you've ever seen. It's not a birthday, not an anniversary. This is a divorce party for Janelle, a party that signals the end of an era and the beginning of freedom. For decades, Cody Brown tried to control everything, but the women he once dominated are rewriting the rules on their terms. January 4th, 2026, Sister Wives Episode 15, Everything is about to change. Christine, the first to step away from Cody, is honoring Janelle, her former sister wife and close friend, the woman who has finally cut the last spiritual tie binding her to Cody. For 30 years, Janelle had lived in the shadow of a marriage recognized by faith but never by law. Even after announcing her separation in December 2022, she didn't consider herself divorced. "We were never legally married," she explained. "I just tell people I'm single." That label didn't feel complete. The spiritual release, the one thing that would finally allow her to move on entirely, hadn't happened yet. Mary Brown had already gone through the process. She approached the church for a spiritual release, citing abandonment, and it was granted. Watching that unfold sparked something in Janelle. She realized she too could reclaim her freedom. Reaching out to Mary, the two women, once divided by jealousy and rivalry, found themselves united, not because of Cody, but through their shared journey of stepping away from him. Janelle's reasons were deeply personal. She wasn't dating anyone at the time, but she knew that without removing this spiritual tether, any future relationship would feel complicated, burdened, or incomplete. 30 years of marriage, 6 children, and decades of loyalty had left a mark, and she needed the final severance for herself, not for Cody. While he spoke vaguely of karmic ties, she was seeking release to truly be free, fully and completely, in mind, body, and spirit. The process was daunting. Janelle traveled to Salt Lake City to meet with church leaders, presenting her reasons and awaiting their judgment. The uncertainty was suffocating. What if they denied her? After everything she'd endured, leaving plural marriage, rebuilding her life, being rejected by those in power would have been unbearable. But hope prevailed. The church approved her request, cutting the spiritual bond that had held her for decades. She was liberated. Christine understood exactly what this meant. She had been the first to walk away from Cody back in November 2021, shocking fans and family alike when she announced her departure online. She had sold her home, relinquished her share of the family properties, and never looked back. By 2023, she had found love again, remarried, glowing with the kind of respect and attention she had always deserved. Now, she wanted to celebrate Janelle in the same way. This wasn't about humiliating Cody or making him feel small. The divorce party was about honoring bravery, resilience, and the strength to break free. Leaving a marriage after 30 years is never simple. Seeking a spiritual divorce outside of the church community was even more complicated. Janelle had to reconnect with people she hadn't spoken to in years, explain herself, and wait for leaders to decide her fate. She did it all with grace. And now it was time to rejoice. Episode 15 unfolds in multiple layers. Janelle meets Mary to reflect on her spiritual freedom. Christine throws the divorce party. Mary finds new joy with a man named Ron during a trip to Zion National Park. Meanwhile, Cody is left apologizing once again, to Robin, his current wife, the one he consistently favored above the rest. The contrast couldn't be starker. While Cody scrambles to redeem himself, the women he tried to control are thriving, liberated, and unapologetically happy. Cody's string of apologies, first to Janelle, then Christine and her husband David, reveals his desperation. His attempting to rewrite the narrative, to cast himself as the one who tried to fix everything. But the truth is glaring. He prioritized Robin above all else. The estrangement from his children tells the story he refuses to admit. Many of them haven't spoken to him in years. One son tragically died by suicide, and others openly condemned him on social media. Cody's empire of plural marriage crumbled because he couldn't handle fairness or equality, and now he's left isolated while the women he once dominated flourish. Christine, Janelle, and Mary are no longer defined by Cody. Christine is thriving in her second marriage, traveling, running her ventures, and co-hosting events with Janelle. Janelle is building her dream life on a 156-acre farm in North Carolina, surrounded by her children and grandchildren, finally free to shape her own path. Mary is exploring new love, enjoying life with Ron, and discovering happiness she never thought possible while tied to Cody. These women are living proof that life after him is not only possible, it's joyful, unburdened, and full of opportunity. The divorce party for Janelle is more than a celebration, it's a statement. We are not victims, it says. We are survivors, we are victors, and we chose ourselves. They are celebrating their courage, their autonomy, and the ability to step away from a man who could never meet their needs. Cody, meanwhile, is left apologizing to Robin, trying to position himself as the one who sought redemption, while his ex-wives revel in freedom and empowerment. The irony is undeniable. Cody's repeated apologies underline a pattern. He seeks to control the narrative, to appear reasonable, to convince the world he tried. But his ex-wives have moved past that. They no longer compete for his attention or validation. They are no longer trapped by favoritism, hierarchy, or the constant burden of managing his ego. The lives they build now, Christine's glowing with new love, Janelle's thriving on her farm, Mary discovering romance and joy, show that leaving him was the best decision they ever made. The party is also symbolic of something much deeper. Janelle's spiritual release wasn't just a bureaucratic process, it was the final severing of a bond that defined her adult life. After decades of marriage, 6 children, and endless compromise, being granted that release allowed her to finally breathe, to fully embrace freedom, and to reclaim herself. Christine, who never felt the need for a formal release, understood and supported Janelle's choice. Together, the women are celebrating not just a divorce, but a rebirth. Even after all these years, Cody still can't grasp what's happening. He complains about Christine's influence over Janelle, blaming her for turning the other wives against him, as if these women weren't capable of making their own choices. He refuses to see that his favoritism toward Robin, his rigid rules, and his inability to balance his attention fairly caused this collapse. He casts himself as the victim, claiming betrayal, but the truth is undeniable. He drove them away. Meanwhile, the women he left behind are thriving. Christine's marriage to David Woolley is everything her life with Cody never was. She is seen, valued, loved, and prioritized every day. Janelle is flourishing on her North Carolina farm, surrounded by family, reclaiming parts of herself that had been suppressed for decades. Mary is moving forward with romance and new experiences. The sister wives who once competed under Cody's shadow now support each other openly, laugh together, travel together, and celebrate milestones as friends and equals. The divorce party for Janelle is more than a social gathering, it's a declaration of independence. It's a middle finger to anyone who believed these women couldn't survive without Cody. It's a toast to courage, resilience, and the joy of choosing yourself over a life that no longer serves you. For decades, Cody tried to make himself the center of the universe, expecting loyalty and sacrifice while offering control, favoritism, and inequality. Now, the women have rewritten that story. They are free, happy, and unbound by his authority. Episode 15 captures the full irony. Cody, isolated with Robin, apologizing for something he imagines is his fault, while Christine throws a party celebrating Janelle's liberation. It's a vivid picture of everything that has changed. Life without Cody isn't just survivable, it's better. His ex-wives have built lives full of love, fulfillment, and empowerment. They have found friendship, joy, and freedom in ways Cody never could provide. And this party? It's the ultimate celebration of that reality. The women are no longer defined by the man they left behind. They define themselves, and that freedom is intoxicating. January 4th, 2026, marks more than a date on a calendar. It marks the triumph of these women, their courage to leave, their power to rebuild, and their ability to find happiness on their own terms. For decades, Cody's control dictated the family's narrative. Now, the women dictate their own. And as they raise their glasses, laugh, and celebrate, it's clear. Life after Cody Brown is not just possible, it's extraordinary.